After Lin Bai traveled to Douluo Continent, he would always pick up some strange things on his birthday every year. At the age of 1, the divine artifact of love descended from the sky, opening up a spiritual sea for Lin Bai and awakening Su Hui. At the age of 2, he pulled out a book from the corner of the table at home, opened it, and inside, many little people hugged each other. After reading the book, Lin Bai's body emitted an extra breath. At the age of 3, he found an ordinary wooden ring with a white-bearded grandfather who claimed to be a medical saint. He taught Lin Bai a set of needlework techniques and set 3 rules for him to not save. He laughed 3 times and passed away. At the age of 4, 5. Every birthday, Lin Bai will gain something. During this process, many changes occurred in Douluo Continent. Zhu Zhuqing said, "Lin Bai's kindness towards me has been rebuilt, and there is no way to repay it. We can only promise each other with our own lives." Emperor Tian. The hope for the revival of soul beasts lies with Lin Bai. Keywords of the novel. Starting from Douluo, there are no pop-ups for random golden fingers every year. Starting from Douluo, download the complete text of random golden fingers every year. Starting from Douluo, read the latest chapters of Random Golden Fingers every year. Chapter 1. Lin Bai doubts he is the protagonist. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. Lin Bai doubts he is the protagonist. Nodding City, Xia Village. On the riverbank outside the village, a young child gazes into the distance by the river. Under his jet black hair, his handsome and distinct features reveal a maturity that does not match his age. The clear and bottomless river flows quietly, with grass and leaves swaying at the bottom and a gentle breeze brushing against his face. Lin Bai murmurs to himself in his heart, today is his 6th birthday and also the day when the martial soul awakens. I hope to have a golden finger to enhance the quality of the martial soul. He is not daydreaming, but has the confidence to say so. Having traveled to Douluo Continent for 6 years, Lin Bai would pick up some good things every year for his birthday, and each item was enough to serve as a golden finger for a certain protagonist. For example, at the age of 1, a golden bow and arrow, as well as a lead-headed arrow, fell from the sky and hit Lin Bai, who was only 1 year old at the time, melting into his mind, opening up a spiritual sea that was difficult for the soul holy city to open. This set of bows and arrows has an extraordinary origin and is a divine tool that can force 2 people to love and break up, even the god of light Apollo cannot resist. Cupid's arrow, a must-have for the protagonist of horse racing. The charm is not enough, just use cheats to make up for it. At the age of 2, Lin Bai picked up a blue book on the corner of the table, suspected to be the dual cultivation technique practiced by the protagonist of the City Dragon King. Yin Yang 9 Dragon's Ju, which strengthens the body and kidneys, prolongs life, and touches the hearts of women. Be indecisive in the face of difficulties, use internal strength to solve them. At the age of 3, I found a wooden ring, which was a storage ring. Inside it, a white-bearded grandfather appeared and taught Lin Bai the lost skills that were standard for the protagonist of the medical sage. Meat and bones, the inheritance of healing the dead. The 13 needles of the ghost sect. 1 stitch brings death back to life, 10 stitches make the king of hell unemployed. This is only the golden finger he obtained when he was 3 years old. Over the years, Lin Bai had reason to suspect that he was the protagonist as he never missed a birthday. But he had a premonition that his martial soul was not good, because his parents in this lifetime were both commoners, and his martial soul was very ordinary. They were Silkworm Baby and Embroidery Needle, both of whom were not soul masters and died young. According to the fact that martial souls rely on bloodline inheritance, Lin Bai's future is not optimistic. Footsteps and gasps came from a distance, and a middle-aged man waved his hand from a distance and shouted, "Lin Bai, the adults of the Martial Soul Hall have arrived. Hurry up and gather at the Martial Soul Hall in the east of the village. Don't let the Soul Master wait for too long." Xia Village suffered from a disaster. 6 years ago, the Funghao Douluo who passed by fought nearby, affecting villagers who went to Notting City to buy supplies. The old village chief and Lin Li's parents died, and the middle-aged man was elected as the new village chief by everyone. "Okay, village chief, I'll go right away." Lin Li agreed and walked towards the east end of the village, carefully examining the surroundings. This year's golden finger arrived later than before. He felt a little uneasy in his heart, and no one could say whether the travel benefits would come to an end. Without the new golden fingers, he would have the ability to survive with the 5 golden fingers he had acquired, but ultimately it would be much more difficult. Don't be too greedy in life. The 5 golden fingers are not much worse than Tang San's. The air in the village is very fresh, with sunshine shining and golden light shining on Lin Bai's face. The warmth brushes away his confusion and his gaze becomes firm. He practiced the Yin-Yang 9 Dragons technique for 4 years and was unable to practice both. He relied solely on breathing in the Yin-Yang energy of the sun and moon, and his internal power entered the realm at an impressive speed. Like Tang San's practice of Xiantian Gong, he reached a certain bottleneck. With internal strength as the foundation, it is not difficult for Lin Bai to become a soul master. The only limitation on him is the quality of his martial soul. Putting aside his worries, Lin Li arrived at the martial soul hall, which was a thatched cottage. 8 young children of the same age as Lin Bai were brought by their parents. On the side of the martial soul hall came a young man, dressed in white strong attire and looking quite handsome, wearing the emblem of the great soul master on his chest. "Hello, respected soul master, I would like to trouble you this time." The village chief respectfully saluted the young man. The young man just bowed slightly, as a gesture of courtesy. "I don't have much time, let's start now." The children stand in a row. A few children stood still in front of him, and Lin Bai consciously stood on the far left. The young man entered the thatched cottage with 9 people and smiled, saying, "My name is Su Yuntao, a level 26 soul master. I am your guide. Now, I will awaken your martial souls one by one. Relax, and don't be afraid of anything that happens." The children huddled together in fear, and Lin Bai's hair stood up. His senses were too sensitive, almost launching an attack. He shook his head secretly for Su Yuntao's evil taste and put away the embroidery needle he was holding with his fingers. At this moment, a mechanical sound rang in Lin Bai's ear. "Infinite recharge system, serving you. In this system, you can buy everything you want. Now make the first charge for any amount and receive a complimentary advanced martial soul awakening card." "Does the host recharge?" Lin Bai shook his head, confirming that it was not an illusion. His heart relaxed as he lifted it. He had obtained a system before, but it automatically uninstalled after a year. However, he had a deep understanding of the power of the system, which can be said to be the strongest golden finger for changing fate against heaven. Recharge. Recharge 1. Copper coin. Lin Bai was shy in his pocket, wearing a storage ring worth over 100,000 gold coins in his hand. In the ring, his entire wealth was only 8 silver coins and 50.3 copper coins. Fortunately, the system did not dislike Lin Bai's poverty. With Lin Bai's consent, a copper coin was collected in the storage ring, leaving behind a purple card with a glossy surface. Lin Bai realized in his heart that with just a thought, he could use this card to awaken advanced martial souls. Like Zhu Zhuqing's ghost cat, it belongs to the level of advanced martial souls. At this moment, it was Lin Bai's turn to awaken his martial soul. "Child, extend your hand out." Su Yuntao rubbed his brow, realizing that the previous 8 children had achieved nothing and had no potential to become soul masters. He hoped for some changes in the end. Lin Bai obeyed and extended his hand, while his thoughts fell. The high-level martial soul awakening card shattered and turned into a sticky purple liquid, flowing out of the storage ring and into his body along his finger skin, flowing throughout his body. "It's so hot." Lin Bai murmured softly, and Su Yuntao's expression moved, staring closely at Lin Bai's right hand. The golden light illuminates the entire thatched cottage, combining sharpness and gentleness, creating a natural balance between contradictions. This is my martial soul, ghost sect golden needle. Lin Bai looked at the 13 gold needles in his hand, as thin as cow hair. He tugged at the corners of his mouth and almost cursed loudly. Although he had learned the 13 needles of the ghost sect, he really didn't want to be a healing soul master. Su Yuntao hesitated as he looked at the ghost sect golden needle. The small golden needle didn't look like it had killing power. I can't recognize what kind of martial soul you are. You can choose your own name to test your soul power. As long as you have a little soul power, you can become a soul master. Lin Bai felt depressed and suppressed this emotion, placing his hand on the blue crystal ball. In an instant, the light shone brightly. Congenital full soul power. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Eye of Appraisal. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. Eye of Appraisal. Lin Bai was well prepared for his innate full soul power and was not surprised. Surprisingly, it has innate soul power. Su Yuntao showed a very surprised expression and his gaze turned hot as he looked at Lin Bai. Child, do you want to join the martial soul hall? With innate soul power, there will definitely be a big shot taking you as his disciple. Lin Bai raised his head with a strong curiosity in his eyes and asked, Master Soul, is there a martial soul like me in the martial soul hall? Su Yuntao's face was awkward, but he was honest and said, as far as I know, there is none. However, the knowledge about martial soul cultivation in the martial soul hall is the most comprehensive on the mainland, and it will definitely help you better cultivate martial souls. I won't go then. Lin Bai shook his head. There were too many abnormal situations on his body that were not suitable for going to the martial soul hall. Even without these problems, he was accustomed to a free life. This was just a reason to reject Su Yuntao. Su Yuntao advised a few more words, but seeing Lin Bai's firm attitude, he said helplessly, if you go back on your word, you can come to the Soul Hall of Nodding City to find me. Wait a moment, I will write you a Soul Master certificate. He wrote Lin Bai's martial soul name and innate soul power level on paper, stamped it with the seal of the martial soul hall, and handed it to Lin Bai. Put it away. If you want to enroll in a junior college, you need to present this certificate. Su Yuntao urged, pushed open the door, and explained Lin Bai's situation to the village chief, hoping that he could persuade Lin Bai. Unfortunately, Lin Bai had already made up his mind, which was difficult for anyone to handle. After perfunctory handling, the village chief went to secure the admission qualifications, and Lin Bai returned to his own home alone. Lin Bai's father grows mulberry and raises silkworms, while his mother earns money by sewing and mending for the city people. He is considered wealthy in Xiahe village. However, after an accident 6 years ago, Lin Bai gradually sold valuable things in his family to make a living and to protect himself. Today, his home is just an empty old house. Pulling the chair and sitting down, Lin Bai summoned his martial soul, and 13 golden needles quietly suspended in his palm. Due to the lack of patient practice, Lin Bai was not proficient in using the 13 needles of the ghost sect. However, he was amazed by the use of several techniques to attack with the golden needle and practiced quite a bit. He had already entered the room. He pinched a golden needle with his fingers and found that he could use martial souls separately, just like a normal silver needle. Buckle the middle finger in a circular shape with the thumb, release the middle finger with the thumb, quickly pop the middle finger open and strike the end of the needle, pop it out, and pierce it into the wooden table, about 2 fingers deep. Without using internal power or soul power, if soul power is used, the depth of the golden needle piercing can still increase. The penetration is very strong, and it feels like attacking steel can penetrate a little bit. That's right, it's ultimately a high-level martial soul. Even if it leans towards healing, the pure material combined with my technique still has decent killing power. But just that, Lin Bai was not satisfied. The doctor was kind-hearted, and he did not possess such a noble consciousness, so he decided not to mislead others or himself. His gaze fixed, his eyes bright and lively, carefully observing the golden needle of the ghost gate. This is the golden finger he received on his 5th birthday. On that day, it rained and dripped into Lin Bai's eyes, giving him the ability to see through everything called the Eye of Identification. Give him enough time, the Eye of Identification, to see through the secrets of everything. Advanced Martial Soul, Ghost Sect Golden Needle. Heals people, beasts, and the common people. Martial Soul Characteristics. Sharpness, retaining life and energy. Can evolve into a top-level martial soul called the Hui Golden Needle. Healing the heavens, the earth, and all things in the universe. Martial soul characteristics. Unparalleled sharpness, retaining life and energy, and having a smooth size. Can mutate and evolve into a super martial soul, Hui Qiankuan Spear, formation. Heals all things in the world, treats all beings and spirits, and fights against all heavens and all realms. Martial soul characteristics. Ultimate gold, integrated light and dark, yin-yang conversion, Hui size, and divine formation. Countless data flashed through my eyes, and the final result was integrated. All information about the Ghost Gate Golden Needle martial soul and the conditions that evolution needs to achieve. Evolving into the Hui Golden Needle requires a metallic spiritual object that must match both sharpness and healing attributes. Focusing on a single attribute will reduce the success rate. After carefully examining the data analyzed by the Appraisal, Lin Bai firmly said, the Hui Golden Needle is the pinnacle of my own bloodline potential. Without the Advanced Martial Soul Awakening card, my awakened martial soul may evolve due to innate full soul power, most likely the difference between the embroidery needle and the golden needle, but it will not be as stable as it is now. I remember that there is no metallic fairy grass in the eyes of ice and fire Liangyi. If I want the martial soul to evolve, I can only rely on my own efforts. Lin Bai put away his martial soul, not disappointed in his heart. The future of the auxiliary soul master is worrying, and he now has at least hope of transferring to a battle soul master. System, open them all. The unlimited recharge system is at your service. Lin Bai skillfully called out the system panel, which listed a wide range of products, including everything. The first item that catches the eye is the Pangu axe, which is obscured by dark clouds and mist, making it blurry and difficult to see. The price below is endless, with a series of zeros. Block out things that cannot be bought even after selling Douluo Star. Lin Bai waved his hand and couldn't breathe well. The system followed the instructions and a large number of items were missing from the panel. List out items related to Metal Spirit Grass and Martial Soul. The items in the system mall have decreased again, and Lin Bai starts browsing from top to bottom. Then he gradually frowned. Items unrelated to Douluo Continent in the mall were at least twice as expensive. It was impossible for him to accumulate enough gold coins to evolve martial souls before the system disappeared in a year. List the items related to the martial soul. As the panel flickered several times and the products switched, Lin Bai found the products that suited him. Martial Soul Evolution Card, 30% off, limited time, price. 70,000 gold soul coins. Martial Soul Mutation Evolution Card, limited to 12% discount, price. 1.2 million gold soul coins. Twin Martial Soul Awakening Card, limited time 50% off, price. 400,000 gold soul coins. Note: 29 days and 23.38 until the next free refresh. You can spend 10,000 soul coins to actively refresh the mall and get discounts, with a maximum discount of 1% and a minimum discount of 20%. Haha. Lin Bai was laughed at in anger. This system really wants money. Can we get a loan? Repayment will be made in 1 year. The system was silent, and Lin Bai was too lazy to silently compete with artificial intelligence. He closed the mall panel and leaned back in his chair to think about how to make money. Why don't we open a medical clinic? No way, there are healing soul masters who seek medical treatment from doctors. Moreover, the money earned from treatment is too slow, and no one trusts me as a child who can cure illnesses. Lin Bai thought about it and found that the methods of making money were all written in the law. To gather enough golden soul coins to buy 3 goods, even if calculated at a discounted price, he would still receive over 200,000 golden soul coins, which is enough to drain the entire capital flow of a medium-sized business association. The legitimate method will definitely not make so much money within a year. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Not in College. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. Not in College. Lin Bai also considered reporting Tang San's father and son. Tang Hao carried a wanted notice from the Martial Soul Hall, which was expensive. However, after careful consideration, he still gave up this seemingly tempting idea. There are 2 reasons for this. Firstly, whether the Martial Soul Hall will be willing to pay him tens or even millions of gold soul coins as compensation. Even if he pays the money, there may not be much left in Lin Bai's hands after being exploited layer by layer. Secondly, once Tang Hao is reported, with Lin Bai's strength, there will definitely be traces left. Unless the Martial Soul Hall sends enough power to kill Tang Hao, if Tang Hao escapes and asks him to follow the trail to find Lin Bai will be in danger. Making some inventions and creations is also difficult to succeed in this world. With the existence of soul masters, efficient methods for salt and iron production have already been discovered, and it's not Lin Bai's turn. The opportunity to change one's destiny is right in front of us, but money is blocking the door. Lin Bai messed up his hair. In his previous life, he was just an ordinary person, and there was no way to make big money. A sense of powerlessness arose in his heart, and at the same time, a hint of resentment appeared. Unable to find a way, he went to rob the rich and help the poor. There were slave merchants on Douluo Continent, and he acted quickly. In a year, he could gather more than 1 million gold coins. When I think about it, the sky and earth are wide in an instant. Lin Bai's eyebrows relaxed, showing a relaxed expression. Feeling hungry, he went to the stove outside and started cooking. After being full, he returned to his room to practice the Yin-Yang 9 Dragons technique. In a blink of an eye, 2 months have passed. Nodding City. Lin Bai, since you were young, you have been sensible. When you arrive at the Soul Master Academy, don't conflict with others. I don't understand cultivation, but just be diligent. Lazy people can't grow good fields. The village chief tirelessly reminded Lin Bai and shared many of his life experiences. Don't worry, Uncle Village Chief. I, Lin Bai, have always been kind to people and will get along well with my classmates. Lin Bai patted his chest and promised that there were not many opportunities to bully children openly. He wanted to take advantage of his shelf life and quickly get rid of the addiction. Well, just remember what I said. The village chief has a low cultural background, a rough personality, and is not aware of anything wrong. The 2 of them inquired along the way and arrived at the entrance of Nodding College. A commotion came from ahead, and the college guards clashed with an old man and a young child. Ha! Is there a golden phoenix in the countryside village? Stinky beggar, get away. The college guard threw away a piece of paper and rudely pushed away the old man in front of him, lifting his nostrils to look down at the 2 of them. We are villagers of Holy Soul Village, not beggars. Jack shouted at the top of his lungs, his hunched back straightened up, and he took 2 firm steps forward, glaring angrily at the guard. Tang San placed his hand behind his back, with a faint murderous aura in his eyes. He was young and had already shown the appearance of a cultivator. Stop it. Yu Xiaojiang stepped forward to stop the conflict. He was attracted by the words, innate full soul power. Old man, can you show me the child's proof? Yu Xiaojiang's expression was stiff, and he tried to show a kind attitude with a gentle tone. Of course, here you are. Old Jack picked up the proof from the Martial Soul Hall, carefully dusted it, and handed it to Yu Xiaojiang with both hands. Yu Xiaojiang took the proof and carefully read it from beginning to end. When he saw the words, Blue Silver Grass Martial Soul, and Congenital Full Soul Power, his heart couldn't help but skip a few beats. He suppressed his excitement and pretended to be calm. The proof is true. The seal of the Martial Soul Hall cannot be fake. Old man, I am a teacher in the college. Let me handle this child, and I will take him to register. Oh my, thank you very much, Soul Master. Thank you very much, sir. Old Jack repeatedly thanked and turned around to lead Tang San to Yu Xiaojiang's side. Third, keep up with Master Soul. Xiao San, a good name. Yu Xiaojiang held Tang San's hand, his palms heating and slightly moist. He turned his head to look at the guard and said, I will tell the dean about everything that happened just now. You take care of it yourself. After speaking, he disregarded the plea of the guards and led Tang San into Nodding College. Lin Bai watched quietly as he didn't want to get involved with Yu Xiaojiang for the time being. After Yu Xiaojiang entered the gate, he took out the proof of the Martial Soul Hall and handed it to the soulless guard. The guard, taking a chance, continued to fulfill his duties. At first glance, he saw the 5 big characters of innate full soul power written on paper. His breath froze, and he lowered his head to look at Lin Bai. He had just been scolded, and he dared not play any more tricks. After careful identification, he confirmed that it was correct and opened the door to let go. Lin Bai bid farewell to the village chief and walked into Nodding College alone. He walked slowly, giving Yu Xiaojiang and Tang San the opportunity to be alone. He didn't notice that the guards behind him hesitated for a moment, but eventually gritted their teeth, left their posts, and chased after Yu Xiaojiang, whispering something in a low voice. Are what you're saying true? Is there another person with innate soul power? Yu Xiaojiang scrutinized the guard with his gaze, realizing how rare his innate soul power was. In a day, he discovered 2 of them, and he didn't believe that he, who had been struggling for half his life, had such good luck. I dare not deceive anyone. After careful examination, the proof of the Martial Soul Hall will not be false. I came to report to you as soon as possible. Please give me another chance to improve. The guard chuckled and looked at Yu Xiaojiang eagerly. As a gatekeeper at Nodding College, he also understands the weight of innate soul power. Yu Xiaojiang understood the meaning of the guard coming to report the message, hesitated for a moment, and lowered his head to look at Tang San. Xiao San, what do you think? It's all up to the teacher to make the decision. Tang San has recognized Yu Xiaojiang as his teacher. In his eyes, one day is a teacher, and one's whole life is a father. Yu Xiaojiang spoke up. Anyway, he and old Jack were not injured, so it's okay to let this guard go. Well, even if this matter is over, it won't happen again. Thank you, Master. Thank you, Master. The guard left with gratitude and ran into Lin Bai on the way, hurriedly avoiding him. Lin Bai saw the guard, but didn't pay attention, completely unaware that he had been betrayed. In no time, Lin Bai walked to the playground and found Tang San and Yu Xiaojiang parked in place. He was about to pretend not to see and walk around directly, but Yu Xiaojiang stopped him and said, Child, don't hurry for now. I'm a teacher from the college, and I heard you have innate soul power. Can I see your martial soul? Tang San looked at Lin Bai, completely not worried about being taken away from the teacher's attention. He spoke up from the side, the teacher's knowledge is very extensive, and I can give you some advice on cultivating martial souls. Lin Bai stood still, secretly pursing his lips in his heart. Isn't it said that martial souls are the privacy of soul masters? Can they be shown to people casually? He was put on for no reason, and his tone was not very good. Yu Xiaojiang's expression froze, but he didn't want to argue with the children. He spoke in a gentle tone and said, You're right, but my college teacher, you don't need to keep it a secret from me. Tang San's eyes were slightly cold as he saw another innate curiosity full of soul power turn into rejection. When he saw the elder asking, he didn't want to answer, but instead asked back. He was such a rude little ghost. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Cupid's Arrow. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. Cupid's Arrow. Yu Xiaojiang's position is impeccable, and as a teacher, he is indeed qualified to know the martial soul of the students. Moreover, the dean was still a friend of Yu Xiaojiang, and Lin Bai had nothing to say. He raised his hand, activated his soul seal, and summoned the ghost sect Golden Needle Martial Soul. The golden light rose up, and 13 golden needles floated in the air. The sharp tips of the needles seemed like delicate light that could cut through the air. The tail was slightly rough, making it easy for fingers to grasp. Lin Bai had a gentle temperament as a doctor, forming a strong contrast with his sharp martial soul. The understanding of herbs in Douluo Continent is still very shallow, let alone the development of traditional Chinese medicine that helps the world by hanging a teapot. Therefore, Yu Xiaojiang cannot recognize Lin Bai's martial soul and can only rely on experience to infer, standing in place for a while to start thinking. Tang San knows the golden needle used for acupuncture and moxibustion, but Tang Clan is a sect dedicated to assassination, and his understanding of acupuncture and moxibustion can only be used to treat diseases. As for trying acupuncture and moxibustion therapy in detoxification in person, Tang San has never tried it. No killer can rest assured that someone will stab him. Many acupoints are slightly offset, which may be the difference between life and death. It seems that the teacher doesn't know the gold needle used for acupuncture and moxibustion, so there must be no such thing as acupuncture and moxibustion in the world. It's a pity that this kind of martial spirit was awakened when it was clearly born with full soul power. Tang San felt sorry for Lin Bai, and his eyes showed some pity. He can't learn acupuncture and moxibustion to heal wounds. The golden needle as thin as a cow's hair can cause very small wounds. It is also a bit lethal when used with concealed weapon techniques, but it will be weaker than normal concealed weapons after all. Perhaps the soul ring of the soul master can be changed. I don't know what the teacher's opinion is. Tang San pondered in his heart and looked at Yu Xiaojiang. Your martial soul belongs to a rare mutated martial soul. Yu Xiaojiang has seen a lot and is knowledgeable. He was silent just now and spent most of his time pondering his words, hoping to surprise him with just one sentence. He wanted to recruit an additional student with innate soul power for him to verify the 10 core competition theories of martial souls. Child, if your name is Lin Bai, I'll call you Xiao Bai. Yu Xiaojiang wants to distance himself by addressing him. Lin Bai raised his eyebrows without hesitation. As the martial soul is inherited through bloodline, there is a very small probability of variation during the process. I have studied 439 people who awakened the needle martial soul, of which only 3 became soul masters, and their highest cultivation reached the level of a great soul master. Their needle martial soul has varying degrees of variation. Your golden needle martial soul has a greater degree of variation, even awakening you to innate full soul power. However, as a weapon martial soul, the needle martial soul is too short and too small to have sufficient attack power with any additional soul rings. If you are willing, you can learn from me with Tang San, and I will choose the soul ring configuration that is most suitable for needle martial souls for you. At the end of the conversation, Yu Xiaojiang felt confident and spoke with a resounding and powerful voice, trying to convey his confidence to Lin Bai. Lin Bai knew what Yu Xiaojiang was saying was reasonable. Without the golden finger, he couldn't figure out how to attach a soul ring to the golden needle martial soul. Although it is metallic, it possesses the properties of healing martial souls. Should we take the agile attack route or the treatment route? He didn't know, but he didn't have a good impression of Yu Xiaojiang. No need, I don't have the idea of pursuing a teacher. Having teachers teaching in the college is already enough for me, he said. Could you please let me know? I need to go to the registration office. Lin Bai walked past Tang San, like a child stimulated to the point of self-esteem. Tang San's gaze was slightly cold, and he humiliated his minister to death. The same goes for his teacher, with a murderous aura in his eyes. Lin Bai kept walking, with a cold smile in his heart. If he dared to show murderous intent towards him, then don't blame him for not being human. He walked through the intersection, and when he turned the corner, he casually turned back to look at Tang San. He lowered his head slightly, and a golden light that was invisible to others was emitted. The arrow of the golden arrow cut through the air and hit Tang San. This is an arrow that even gods cannot detect. Lin Bai only used the aura released by the artifact in his spiritual sea, without the original power, which could make the gods love him uncontrollably. However, dealing with Tang San now is enough. After all, Tang San was only showing his murderous intent and had not actually taken action. Lin Bai gave his father face. Now Lin Bai can designate Tang Sanchi to fall in love with a target. Since Yu Xiaojiang cares so much about Tang San, let's take your relationship closer and set a target, Yu Xiaojiang. Another golden light shot out from Lin Bai's eyes, hitting Yu Xiaojiang. Specify the target, Tang San. Going in both directions belongs to me. Lin Bai likes to see lovers eventually get married. He has mastered the arrow of Cupid, and there will be no such thing as shaving one's head and picking on the other between lovers. Lin Bai waved his sleeve and walked towards the academic affairs office. After the incident, brush off your body and hide your achievements and fame deeply. Yu Xiaojiang was teaching Tang San some basic knowledge about martial souls. Looking at Tang San's delicate face and calm eyes, he suddenly realized that he looked so serious and cute, making people want to hold him in their arms. How could I have such thoughts? Yu Xiaojiang quickly shook his head, dispelling the enchanting thoughts in his heart. Teacher, what's wrong? Tang San looked up and looked at Yu Xiaojiang. At the moment when his gaze met, he suddenly froze and found that the teacher's beard was so sexy. The rough beard made him imagine the feeling of touching it, and his serious face reminded him of his separated father. He really wished he could never be separated from the teacher. The two of them separated at a glance, and the atmosphere became strange. The scent of the artifact did not change their sexual orientation, but it caused some trouble for both of them, and it was no problem for Lin Bai to find some fun. Academic Affairs Office. Teacher, I want to register. Lin Bai has tried the power of Cupid's arrow with animals, and can speculate about Tang San and his current situation. Thinking of their affectionate gaze, Lin Bai wanted to laugh out loud and walk briskly. The teaching director is responsible for registering, taking Lin Bai's martial soul certificate, staying on soul power and martial soul for a few seconds. His expression slightly changed, and he was surprised in his heart. It's actually innate full soul power, but martial soul has not heard of it. I don't know what potential it is. He had self-awareness and did not mention accepting apprentices. He quickly filled out the enrollment form and handed it to Lin Bai. Lin Bai took it and continued to inquire, Teacher, can I apply for a soul hunting token in the college? The director shook his head and said, only the Martial Soul Hall is eligible to distribute soul hunting tokens. Students who want to hunt souls need to apply to the Martial Soul Hall and also need recommendations from 3 nobles. After speaking, he remembered something again. However, it is said that the master in the academy has a soul hunting token, but he never lends it out. Forget it, you should go to the Martial Soul Hall to have a look. The teaching director is afraid of sending Lin Bai over and being accepted as a student by Yu Xiaojiang, so he is causing harm to Lin Bai. Hurry up and change your tune. Thank you, teacher. Lin Bai thanked and turned around to leave. On the way, he pondered to himself that without a soul hunting token, he was confident of entering the soul hunting forest. However, if the people in the Martial Soul Hall discovered him, it would ultimately be troublesome. After all, his innate cultivation with full soul power had been exposed, so let's go to the Martial Soul Hall and take a look. Coincidentally, Su Yuntao asked himself to find him. Cupid's arrow. In response to the prayers of many believers, the great God of love has specially expanded the range of artifacts that can be locked into 75+ genders and 79.68 million races. May the world change and only love will last forever. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. 7 Houses. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5 7 Houses Dormitory for Working Class Students, in front of the 7 houses. Lin Bai doesn't need to buy bedding. He brought a set from home and put it in the storage ring. Well, we saved a few copper coins. Walking to the door, Lin Bai took out the bedding and carried it inside. The wooden door creaked, and the working class students inside turned their heads. A young man with a tiger's head and a tiger's brain jumped out of bed. The newcomer has arrived, come and compete with me. The winner is the new boss of Chisha. Let me introduce myself. My name is Wang Sheng, a martial soul tiger. The young man's bright eyes were fixed on Lin Bai, and upon seeing his slender arms, thighs, and overly handsome features, he immediately pursed his lips. Lin Bai scanned the 7 houses and found a bed against the wall. He walked over with the bedding in his arms and said while making the bed, "It's okay to have a fight, but..." "But what?" Wang Shenghui hugged his arms and immediately took up the conversation. Lin Bai turned around and looked up and down at Wang Sheng's strong body, saying, "You look much older than me. At first glance, you are a senior student. I will take leave tomorrow to attach the first soul ring, and I will fight you when I come back." Looking at Lin Bai's cautious expression, Wang Sheng wished he could find a crack in the ground to crawl in. The voice was not accompanied by a tremolo. "You just awakened your martial soul, you can already obtain a soul ring. Are you the legendary innate full soul power?" Wang Sheng has been in school for 4 years, and now he only has level 7 soul power. Lin Bai showed a pure smile and nodded, "Yes, there's nothing unusual about this. I just met someone on the road who is also naturally full of soul power. I estimate he will come over soon. If you want to find someone to take action, you can try to find him. There is also an innate full soul power." Wang Sheng and a group of working class students exclaimed in surprise, their faces filled with disbelief. Wang Sheng was not discouraged. Although he had suffered some setbacks, he was more happy. He was glad that the working class students had a support and could finally stand up. At that moment, the door of the 7th house opened wide and Tang San walked in. He scanned the standoff crowd, his cold little face devoid of emotion, and walked towards the bed in the corner. "Wait, the new one needs to have a fight with the dormitory boss and decide on the new boss." Wang Sheng still spoke out the rules, otherwise there would be no reason for innate geniuses full of soul power to protect them. Tang San stopped and looked at Wang Sheng, "Did you win him?" He is referring to Lin Bai. Lin Bai spread out his hand and said, "I'm not good at fighting, I've already given up." No one exposed him, the title of innate soul power is still very useful. Tang San nodded in agreement and said, "All right, attack me and let me see the strength of the soul master." He stood in place, his seemingly relaxed posture actually hiding a hidden mystery. The muscles in his waist and back were tense, connecting his flexible arms and powerful legs, and a chilling aura rose up. Wang Sheng launched an attack. Wang Sheng hit GG. "So strong, you will become the new leader of our 7 houses in the future." Wang Sheng lost and immediately handed over the position of the boss. Other working class students agreed and the sincere boss sounded out one by one. Tang San didn't want to play around with the children and was about to refuse when a crisp voice came from the door. "How lively! Are you fighting? Add me." The little girl with scorpion tail braids jumped into the 7th house and saw Tang San and Lin Bai standing out among the crowd. Her eyes immediately lit up and she walked over to the 2 of them, looking at this and that. "What a lovely little girl." Wang Sheng sighed and quickly approached Tang San, urging him, "Boss, teach her a lesson and let her see your strength." The 6-year-old child felt powerless. Lin Bai pointed at Tang San to Xiao Wu and said, "If you win him, you will be the leader of Qixia." Tang San's eyes were fixed on Lin Bai. He hated trouble, and if Lin Bai didn't give up, he would rather have a fight with him. Xiao Wu didn't care about Tang San's thoughts. When she heard that she could become the boss, her bright eyes lit up. Without waiting for Tang San to respond, she stepped out with agile legs and rushed towards Tang San. The legs wrapped in pink pantyhose were like two giant pythons, fast and cunning in attack. Tang San gave up other ideas and focused on dealing with Xiao Wu's attack. Xiao Wu took the advantage of the first attack and quickly seized the opportunity, leveraging her own advantages, twisting her waist in the air and kicking twice in a row to defeat Tang San. The battle is over. Tang San rubbed his wrist and looked at Xiao Wu in surprise. He didn't expect a little girl to beat him with a move. Even if he didn't show his true abilities, he could still see Xiao Wu's talent in combat. "Okay, from now on, I will be your boss." "No, no, no, the boss is too unpleasant to listen to. In the future, you should call me Big Sister. Xiao Wu, with her hands on her hips, enthusiastically announced her new title. Big Sister. Wang Xing nodded and bowed. In the 7 chambers, he recognized himself as the second leader in terms of ability, and no one dared to recognize him as the first. Work students followed closely, and Lin Bai silently estimated that he didn't need to use the moves from the Yin Yang 9 Dragons Ju, and was likely unable to defeat Xiao Wu. However, the protagonist of the Dragon King's unique skills had a special attack on women, so he gave up the idea of bullying Xiao Wu and also shouted, "Big Sister." Tang San also shouted, then turned his head to look at Lin Bai. Lin Bairuo felt something and turned his head to look at him. There seemed to be sparks between the two, and the atmosphere solidified. "Grandma, what do Tang San think of me like this? Cupid's arrow won't change his sexual orientation, will it?" Lin Bai cursed inwardly, but still didn't want to admit defeat in the eye contact. He wanted to see who would blink first. Xiao Wu blinked her eyes and pointed her index finger to her chin as she watched the two of them compete. She couldn't help but think of De Ming and Ming. Seeing the excitement was not too big of a deal, she almost applauded and let them fight. "Who is Tang San?" A young man walked into the 7th house and interrupted the competition. "I am." Tang San turned his head and muttered to himself that he had lost his head. He was actually fighting a child, but Lin Bai was indeed an annoying little ghost. No wonder he couldn't help it. He didn't know that this was his deep concern that Lin Bai might steal Yu Xiaojiang's attention. Although Tang San wouldn't have thought this way before, the strength of Cupid's arrow lies in its ability to instantly change the preferences of creatures. Love is blind and selfish. The young man handed Tang San a new set of bedding and said, "I am the teacher in charge of managing the dormitory. This is what the master asked me to give you, and you are also responsible for the hygiene of the garden area behind the college. 10 copper coins per day will be deducted if it is not cleaned thoroughly." After finishing these words, the teacher left. Tang San held the clean and tidy bedding in his arms, and a stream of heat flowed through his heart. He felt the care from the teacher and placed the bedding on the bed with great care. Xiao Wu looked around and saw that everyone else had bedding, but she didn't. She bulged her mouth and said, "Tang San, how about we share a set of bedding?" Upon hearing this, Tang San immediately looked like a cat with its tail stepped on and refused, "No way. This is what the teacher gave me, I can't use it for you." With such a resolute attitude, Xiao Wu immediately made a tearful expression, but unfortunately Tang San's heart remained calm and unmoved. Xiao Wu looked at Lin Bai again, his bedding was also new. A man and a woman who give and receive are not compatible, and a big sister who values her own head. Lin Bai habitually made sarcastic remarks, but when he saw Xiao Wu's eyes burning with anger, he secretly thought it was not good. 36 strategies, walking is the top strategy. He took a few steps and slipped out of Chisha, his voice echoing in the corridor. I'm going to take a leave, don't touch my bedding. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Soul Hunting Forest. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6 Soul Hunting Forest. Big sister, do you want to use my bedding? Wang Sheng, as the younger brother, gave Xiaowu a step. Xiaowu glared at him. She didn't need such dirty bedding. Neither of her younger brothers was obedient, and her older sister thought it was really boring. Humph, you can sleep without bedding, she said as she spoke. She found a seat and sat on the bed, looking at Lin Bai's soft bedding not far away. Her eyes were filled with envy, but Lin Bai didn't allow it. She rolled her eyes, but still didn't make a forceful move. Leaving the dormitory, Lin Bai found the dean's office. Bang, bang, bang. Please come in. A gentle voice came out, and Lin Bai pushed the door in and saw the dean, a middle-aged man with a gentle and elegant appearance, resembling the dean's identity as a soul master. Are you? Dean, I am Lin Bai, the new student of this year, born with full soul power. I need to take leave to apply to enter the soul hunting forest to hunt souls. Lin Bai said the purpose of his visit. The dean pondered for a moment upon hearing this and looked up at Lin Bai, saying, Do you know the requirements for applying for a token? Lin Bai nodded. His soul power level met the standard, and with the recommendation of the 3 nobles, he could obtain the soul hunting token. The requirements are not difficult. With innate soul power, it is easy to find nobles willing to help recommend. The dean asked again, Have you found a team to accompany you in soul hunting? What I mean is, although the college has not yet started, the college can send 2 teachers to help you hunt for the first soul ring. Lin Bai was slightly tempted, but in an instant, he shook his head and smiled, refusing, Thank you, Dean. I have already found the soul hunting team, so there is no need to trouble the teachers. The dean nodded slightly and then showed a serious expression. Don't trust those soul hunting teams outside too much. They may betray you at any time for profit, and the teachers of the college are more trustworthy. Dean, I understand now. I will pay attention to it later. Lin Bai's attitude was firm, and the dean sighed and waved his hand. I'm sure I'll take your leave, go ahead and pay attention to safety. Lin Bai thanked again and left the dean's office. Shortly after Lin Bai left, the office was pushed open and Yu Xiaojiang walked in. Xiao Gang, why do you have time to come to me when you're not staying in the dormitory reading books today? The dean smiled and said, pouring a cup of tea for Yu Xiaojiang. Yu Xiaojiang took the tea cup and placed it on the table, directly stating the reason for this. I have taken a student with innate soul power and will take him to the soul hunting forest tomorrow. I need you to inform the teachers. The dean chuckled and said, So it's like this. Xiaojiang, you're late. Lin Bai came over just now and asked me for leave. It turns out he's your student, so I can rest assured. Lin Bai. Yu Xiaojiang was taken aback for a moment, then shook his head and said, Lin Bai is not my student. My student's name is Tang San, and he is also naturally full of soul power. It's a coincidence. You can rest assured that when you meet Lin Bai in the soul hunting forest, I will take care of 1 or 2. So it's like this. The dean suddenly realized that 2 innate soul powers had appeared in his small nodding college, which was really lucky. Well, I'll leave first. Yu Xiao greeted and left the dean's office. The dean was already accustomed to this and didn't care with a slight smile. On the other side, Lin Bai left the branch hall of the Martial Soul Hall. Just now, Lin Bai successfully found Su Yuntao, and with Su Yuntao's help, he found 2 other deacons to jointly recommend and apply for the soul hunting token. The token is disposable and must be returned once used, otherwise the Martial Soul Hall will investigate. Su Yuntao has not yet given up trying to lure Lin Bai into the Martial Soul Hall and offered to help him hunt his soul. However, Lin Bai once again refused. Although this may not be helpful to Su Yuntao, Lin Bai has his own plan and can compensate Suyantao in other ways in the future. Using a few silver coins to rent a carriage, Lin Bai planned to go to the soul-hunting forest overnight. As for Xiao Wu, who was angry in the dormitory, he had already forgotten about it. The coachman is an ordinary person who takes turns driving with Lin Bai. Even so, it took 3 days and 3 nights to reach the nearest soul-hunting forest. Guest, the soul-hunting forest has arrived. The coachman has been running this route for more than 10 years, claiming to have seen many things and knowledge. It is also the first time he has seen a 6-year-old child come alone to hunt the soul forest. However, his mouth is very tight, and he can only sigh in his heart. Lin Bai lifted the car curtain and walked out. You can go now. He jumped off the carriage, paid the remaining fare to the coachman, and waited for the coachman to leave, walking alone towards the soul-hunting forest. On both sides of the road are various shops, with constant cries of sales. The air is filled with a faint fishy smell, emanating from the fur of soul beasts hanging outside the shops. Seeing Lin Bai alone, many ambiguous gazes turn towards him, greedy, jealous, and fearful, and so on. Lin Bai ignored and walked confidently to the end of the road, taking out the soul-hunting token and presenting it to the soldiers of the martial soul hall outside the soul-hunting forest. The soldier carefully checked the token and confirmed that it was genuine. He did not ask Lin Bai why he came alone to hunt the soul forest, but cleared it quickly and decisively. The tall iron gate opened, and Lin Bai took the soul-hunting token handed back by the soldiers and walked into the deep soul-hunting forest. In the soul-hunting forest, there are lush trees, and large trees several tens of meters high can be seen everywhere. Walking into it, it is like a drop of water flowing into the sea, which is inconspicuous. Even if one dies inside, it is just adding a withered bone to the soul-hunting forest. Regarding the soul-hunting team, Lin Bai deceived the dean and there was no one to help him hunt souls. He has so many secrets, of course he chooses to hunt his soul alone. The confidence in doing so comes from his various golden fingers. For example, as long as the artifact Cupid's arrow is released, even if a deity comes, once hit by a golden arrow, it will never harm Lin Bai. However, in order to protect his chastity, Lin Bai decided to use the artifact as his last card. Although the Yin-Yang 9 Dragons technique and the 13 Needles of the Ghost sect cannot be practiced at home, they can work together with the Eye of Identification to see through their weaknesses and can deal with ordinary centenary soul beasts. The reliance that allowed Lin Bai to dare to adventure alone and come to the soul-hunting forest was the golden finger he obtained when he was 4 years old. That year's golden finger was Lin Bai's first time gaining access to the system, superhero system, good deeds to earn points, and the ability to purchase any imaginable superpowers and technological equipment. Due to being over 4 years old, Lin Bai could only do some small things to help others in Xiahe village, gradually accumulating points. At that time, Lin Bai did not know that the system like Golden Finger would disappear in a year, so he did not urgently accumulate points. Fortunately, the countdown will begin 3 days before the system disappears. Lin Bai exchanged his saved points for his most suitable superpower. Niandong. Mindfulness, also known as mindfulness, is a branch of mental abilities that is common but full of potential. Especially when Lin Bai opened up the Sea of Spirit in advance, Cupid's arrow automatically recognized its owner. As a divine weapon, although its killing power was insufficient, its position was placed there, which could help him suppress and stabilize the Sea of Spirit, and his spiritual power continued to grow steadily. Transformed into psychic power, Lin Bai can lift thousands of kilograms of boulders, and psychic power is intangible and intangible, making it difficult for people to defend themselves when used. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. The Eye of Identification Against Heaven. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. The Eye of Identification Against Heaven. Of course, superpowers and so on are not the focus. Lin Bai's fingers moved slightly, caressing the wooden ring on his index finger. His thoughts fell, and a black steel artifact in the shape of an L fell into his hand. M9 semi-automatic pistol. Old model military pistols from beautiful country. Lin Bai obtained it by purchasing the remaining points of his psychic power. The price is not expensive, and it is enough to deal with enemies in front of the Soul King on Douluo Continent. Even enemies with weak defense can defeat them with one strike. With a pistol in hand, the heavy touch immediately made the deep and terrifying soul-hunting forest less terrifying, the sticky air freshened, and the dim sunlight became bright. The tense emotions were swept away, and Lin Bai walked along the path in the woods, with a gentle breeze brushing his face. The focus of his eyes converged, and the discerning eye discovered the trail of the soul beast. In the dense shrub forest, a green praying mantis remained motionless and hung steadily on a branch, almost perfectly blending with the surrounding environment. However, in Lin Bai's view, those four big characters were so prominent. Bronze mantis. 430 years, bloodline source. Golden praying mantis, evolutionary conditions. After 10,000 years, it can evolve into a silver praying mantis, or after frequent exercise, it can take metal spiritual items such as silver pump marrow. As Lin Bai continued to gaze at the bronze mantis, more and more information about it emerged. Mutation and evolution conditions. Killing and devouring nearly 100 members of the same clan, it can evolve into a bloody praying mantis. The blood and gold double swords can draw the enemy's blood to replenish themselves during attacks. The more kills, the faster the progress. Produce soul skills, changing with the martial soul. Sharp blade slash, double blade slash, steel flash, cross charge. Weakness. Abdomen, martial soul adaptability. 74%, soul skill variation rate. 2.6%, click to view the probability of each soul skill mutating in different directions. Probability of soul bone drop. Extremely small, personal information. Male. Body length 65.72 centimeters, with both forelimbs and blades of each length. Too much information flashed by, and Lin Bai blinked quickly. With a thought, he stopped identifying. The rest of the information was not important, as he was not interested in mating with the bronze mantis several times. This is Lin Bai's first time using the eye of identification to identify soul beasts. He didn't expect to be able to identify so much information, let alone the information he found. He almost flipped through the bronze mantis's underwear. So my eye for identification is like a golden finger that guards against beasts. Lin Bai suddenly realized that the question now was whether or not he should kill the bronze mantis in front of him. The other party didn't know they had discovered it, and the bronze mantis could be easily killed with either a teleportation or a pistol. The cultivation period of 430 years happens to be within the absorption limit of the first soul ring of the Soul Master. It's not a big deal to exceed 7 or 8 years. The Yin-Yang 9 dragons have the effect of strengthening the body, which is not comparable to professional external skills, but it can also make my physical strength far exceed that of a soul master at the same level. There was no time for Lin Bai to hesitate. The soul beast was very sensitive to all the wind and grass around it. The bronze mantis's triangular head rotated, and its protruding compound eyes aimed at Lin Bai, shining a faint light. Done. Who let you bump into it? Lin Bai is still on the outskirts of the soul-hunting forest, and the sound of a pistol will attract others. His thoughts move, and a majestic spiritual power is released from his eyebrows, condensing into an intangible and intangible mental power. The Ghost Gate Golden Needle martial soul emerged, rapidly shooting out one by one under the influence of the power of thought, leaving behind golden shadows in mid-air, like fleeting sunlight, incredibly brilliant. Sha. The bronze mantis sensed a threat and rubbed its wings to make a sound. It spread its bronze wings, flapped quickly, and dodged the golden needle of the Ghost Gate, landing on another tree 20 meters away. Its sharp twin blades exuded a blue soul power, accompanied by a rustling sound. The bronze mantis took off again, with its twin blades tilted and crossed, like the blades of decapitation, killing Lin Bai. An incompetent fool. Lin Bai murmured softly and lifted himself into the air with the power of his mind, rising to 20 meters in just 1 second. The bronze mantis is dumbfounded. It absorbs metal elements to increase its body hardness and attack power, making it unable to fly high or far even with wings. Watching Lin Bai soar into the air, under the wild ferocity of the bronze mantis, the buried desire for survival emerged, turning the direction and fleeing towards the depths of the forest. I want to escape now, it's too late. Lin Bai's tone was faint, and the Ghost Gate golden needle formed an irregular formation to kill a return rifle, piercing into the fragile abdomen of the bronze praying mantis. With strong force, it slammed down and crushed the bronze praying mantis to the ground, creating a shallow pit. The vigorous vitality of the soul beast keeps the bronze mantis alive, and the green twin swords vigorously swing, but they cannot attack and limit its mental power. Lin Bai furrowed his brows slightly. The strength of his mental power was closely related to the strength of his mental power, but it belonged to physical attacks. Without a golden needle as a weapon, his pure killing power would not be high. This can be seen from the bronze mantis's ability to survive even after receiving a full blow. However, soon Lin Bai relaxed his brow and said, "It's not that my mental ability is weak, it's that I'm too weak." Besides, with the cooperation of the Golden Needle martial soul, there's no need to worry about lacking weapons in the future. No matter how powerful Tang San's hidden weapon techniques are, they can still be compared to his mental manipulation. Not to mention those reckless men who only focus on cultivating martial souls. Lin Bai's face showed a faint smile again. Nianli restrained the bronze praying mantis and carried it out of a hillside. Nianli transformed into a shovel shape and began digging soil, digging a hole enough for Lin Bai to hide. Lin Bai jumped in. Cover the opening with branches and leaves of grass for perfect concealment. Lin Bai's thoughts twitched slightly, and the golden needle darted from the belly of the soul beast, piercing upwards into the brain of the bronze mantis, completely killing it. A bright yellow soul ring floated out, and Lin Bai put away the slightly dimmer golden needle martial soul. The martial soul can be used in isolation, but there is a risk of dissipation as the soul power within the martial soul is depleted. Lin Bai can delay this process with the help of his psychic connection, but it is also difficult to support prolonged battles. I can discuss this question later. Let me see what soul skills my first soul ring will bring me. Lin Bai Pan sat in a damp underground cave, using soul power to pull the yellow soul ring. Soul power blended, and the scorching exotic soul power entered his body, causing a frenzy in the meridians and impacting the gaps between them. Lin Bai felt severe pain in his body, but he firmly sat still. His powerful spiritual power allowed him to easily control his body and even temporarily block pain, but that was not a long-term solution. It was a loss of his own potential, and he disdained it. Lin Bai's thoughts perceive his own state with a transcendent mindset, quietly blending his body, martial soul, and soul ring. He won't slack off just because he has many golden fingers. In his opinion, the potential of the martial soul is not as weak as it appears. Any path to the divine has its merits, and Lin Bai hopes to tap deeper into the potential of his martial soul, rather than relying solely on an unknown number of golden fingers. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. First Soul Skill, Seek Collection. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8 First Soul Skill, Seek Collection. 1 hour later. Lin Bai opened his eyes, and the green light in them flashed away, revealing his sharpness. Soul Technique. Qingfeng stabs acupoints. The information about the soul skill automatically came to mind, and Lin Bai was very lucky. There was only a 2% chance of encountering it, and the soul skill mutated. After using the soul technique, the Ghost Gate Golden Needle increased its sharpness by 50%. This should be the original soul technique effect, enhancing the penetration of the Golden Needle. For me, it is considered a small masterpiece. After mutation, piercing a specific acupoint can convert soul power into vitality, providing minimal therapeutic effects for oneself and allies. Haha. Lin Bai showed a brilliant smile, and if that's all, he wouldn't have grinned. The therapeutic effect of puncturing acupoints will accumulate. The new acupoint in the second acupuncture will superimpose the therapeutic effect of the first acupuncture point, the therapeutic effect of the third acupuncture point will superimpose the therapeutic effect of the first two acupuncture points, and so on, until the last acupuncture point superimposes all previous therapeutic effects. I clearly don't want to be a healing soul master, but the result can only be said to be truly fragrant. There is no knowledge of acupoints in soul techniques, and it may be impossible for others to do so. However, Lin Bai learned many obvious and hidden acupoints in the human body from the 13 needles of the ghost sect, which can maximize the effect of using the first soul technique. As for the soul power consumption caused by continuous accumulation, it can only be considered a minor flaw compared to the anti-heavenly healing effect. Lin Bai summoned the ghost sect golden needle martial soul, stimulated soul power, lit up the first soul ring, and the golden needle emitted a blue light. After a careful perception, Lin Bai felt a bit regretful. Even though the consumption of the first soul ring was not significant, with his current soul power, at most using the fourth needle would deplete his soul power. The future is promising. Lin Bai put away his martial soul, pushed open the branches and leaves of the cave with his chanting power, jumped out of the underground cave, and integrated the first soul ring. His physical fitness has been improved, and his soul power has reached level 13, which is much faster than cultivation. There is also the body of the bronze praying mantis, at least a century-old soul beast, which should be able to sell a lot of gold soul coins and be taken away in the storage ring. As the sun sets in the west, the fiery clouds in the sky shine brightly, and the hot and dry day is swept away, replaced by the cool evening. Lin Bai only stayed in the soul-hunting forest for half a day and has no plans to continue. Although hunting soul beasts can sell money, the money sold is only a drop in the bucket for him, and he is easily caught by patrol law enforcement teams. It's better to go back and find a target to make money. He walked out of the soul beast forest without the need for inspection and left smoothly. As darkness approached, Lin Bai's gaze increased instead of decreasing. Lin Bai knew it well and came to the front of a shop where soul beast corpses were hanging. A middle-aged man was busy working alone in the shop when he saw Lin Bai enter the shop. He glanced and continued to craft the soul beast materials in his hand. "Boss, how do we collect the body of the bronze mantis?" Lin Bai doesn't care about the boss's indifferent attitude, and in other words, he doesn't care about kids of the same age. The boss glanced askance at Lin Bai, who didn't mind wasting a few words. He glanced over and noticed the ring in Lin Bai's hand, but didn't think in the direction of the storage soul guide, because the wooden ring was dusty and looked very ordinary. Judging by the year, there is no charge for anything else in the 10th grade. 10 golden soul coins of a 100-year-old bronze mantis will be added, and for every additional 100 years of age, an additional 10 gold coins will be added. Lin Bai nodded slightly. He didn't know how the price was, but he was too lazy to go and inquire about other stores a few more times. He waved his hand and threw the body of the bronze mantis on the ground, splashing a patch of dust. 400-year-old bronze mantis, give it money. The middle-aged man's eyebrows trembled, surprised that Lin Bai was not here to join the fun. He really had some goods. He stood up and walked to the side of the bronze praying mantis. Seeing the intact body, he was amazed and remained calm. His gaze scanned over and roughly determined the length of the bronze praying mantis. Well, it has a lifespan of 400 years. 40 gold soul coins, keep them. The boss quietly scrutinized Lin Bai, took out 40 gold soul coins and put them in a small cloth bag, placing them on the table, gesturing for Lin Bai to take them himself. Money and goods stand firm, bid farewell. Lin Bai picked up the money bag and threw it casually. When he stopped, the money bag had already been placed in the storage ring. As expected, Soul Master still earns money. Apart from having to pin his head on his waistband, he has no other shortcomings. Lin Bai rented a car and walked there. The car rental shop also provided accommodation for the Soul Master to stay and rest. He planned to take a night off and return to Notting College tomorrow. After walking for a while, there were hurried footsteps coming from behind. Lin Bai kept walking, releasing his mental energy in forming a semi-circular shield around his body. Bang! Damn it, what kind of thing? A scream came, and Lin Bai chuckled lightly as he collided with the Nianli shield, no different from hitting the wall. He turned around and saw two young men supporting another young man with blood on his face to stand up. He's the one who caused it. Brothers, don't get close, just kill him. The bleeding young man knocked off his front teeth, spoke with a slight leak, and angrily released his martial soul. A sharp firewood knife. A white soul ring. Kid, throw your money bag over, otherwise I'll make it hard for you to eat today. That's right, hand it over quickly. The three of them had a green light in their eyes, showing a strong greed. They were all part of a group of Soul Masters, but the monthly subsidy of 1 gold coin for Soul Masters was not enough to watch and even enough to eat a few big meals. Therefore, they occasionally did a few business raids. Today, I saw Lin Bai, a child who had entered the Soul Beast Forest and returned safely in just half a day, which naturally aroused my evil intentions. Lin Bai looked around and found it quite remote with few pedestrians. No wonder they dared to take action here. But it also saved him some effort. Lin Bai can directly use his psychic power to twist the necks of 3 people, but who knows if there will be a Soul Master passing by nearby, so he summons a martial soul and uses his psychic power to drive the golden needle. This is seen by outsiders as his martial soul's own ability. A century-old soul ring. The 3 people who were robbing the road saw Lin Bai's yellow soul ring, and everyone was confused. They had fallen to this point, not only for pleasure, but also because the first soul ring was only the weakest white soul ring. At this moment, when they saw the century-long soul ring they had dreamed of, they did not feel as they had hoped, only panicked and panicked. Hard stubble, hurry up. The 3 of them crawled and ran away, and Lin Bai's thoughts moved. 13 golden needles shot out one after another, crossing a distance of more than 10 meters, piercing into the spine of the 3 young people's bodies. They stiffened all over, and then felt their hands and feet no longer obeying. They fell to the ground, wailing and looking at the dark sky in despair. If there's something I need to ask, you can just deliver it to my door. It really saves me a lot of trouble. Lin Bai stepped forward and kicked them one by one, giving them some hard work to avoid lying and deceiving him. I ask you, where are there slave merchants nearby? From the outside, the shops of slave merchants were no different from ordinary shops, and Lin Bai didn't know the corresponding signs, so he decided to find someone who knew the way. I said you have to let us go. One person pretended to be calm, but in reality, their pants were already wet. Lin Bai nodded nonchalantly. It's impossible to let them go, he's not looking for slave merchants for consumption. There must be no leaks about this matter. The fate of the 3 of them was already predetermined at the moment of robbing Lin Bai. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Having Money. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. Having money, there is a large estate 40 miles north, where a powerful Mr. Buck lives. He has over 100 subordinates and is the largest slave merchant nearby. Many nobles buy slaves from him. The young man quickly spoke out what he knew and looked at Lin Bai with flattery. 40 miles, it's not too far. Lin Bai nodded slightly and waved his hand. The young man thought that Lin Bai was going to let them go and secretly rejoiced. He was about to leave and report to Lord Buck. Let's see how he died then. The young man was immersed in daydreaming, and suddenly a sharp pain struck. The last thing he saw was the heads of his two companions turning 180 degrees, losing their breath, and falling to the ground. Twisting the necks of the three with mental strength, Lin Bai walked away without looking back, without seeing any blood, and he didn't feel any discomfort. The body will be discovered and processed tomorrow. He set off in the dark to meet Mr. Buck, who is said to have a lot of energy. There is only a general direction, but it is not difficult to find Lin Bai. The food, drink, and salad of hundreds of people need to be provided, and Mr. Buck's estate will not be too far from the city. But if a slave merchant dares to live outside the city, perhaps the aristocrats behind him are not weak, and he should be careful not to be traced back. Lin Bai opened the system and searched for items in the mall to remove odors. Chu Wei Wan, Duan Xiang powder, Yin Dan. Fortunately, I sold the bronze mantis, otherwise I wouldn't have enough money. Lin Baihua spent 30 gold soul coins to buy a Tsuwei pill, wrapped in paper. There were 3 pills of different colors, 1 for internal use and 2 for external use separately. After reading the instructions, Lin Bai put away the deodorizing pill and used Nianli to hover close to the ground. Nianli formed an arc-shaped shield, squeezing out the air and allowing Lin Bai to move quickly. It took him half an hour to reach the 40-mile north and find Mr. Buck's mansion. The manor is indeed very large, covering an area of tens of thousands of square meters. Even at night, the lights in the manor are brightly lit, and a slave merchant would not be unable to light candles. Lin Bai was not sure if there was a soul master inside. He took out the purchased black cloth, wrapped it around his whole body, and supported it with his psychic power, trying to look taller. If he didn't get close, it would be difficult to find his true body shape. Everything was ready, and Lin Bai drifted silently into the estate like A Piao. He hid in the shadow of the corner of the wall and drifted towards the largest room in the estate. On the way, Lin Bai encountered a group of patrolling guards, just strong ordinary people. He easily dodged and smoothly entered the central 3-story villa. The villa hall is spacious, with a rugged middle-aged man with a beard all over his face pouring and drinking. 2 soul masters and bodyguards sit not far away, paying attention to the middle-aged man. Lin Bai understood clearly that this was his goal. He looked at the 2 soul masters dressed in strong attire, but did not notice any threat. Moreover, the soul masters who came to serve as bodyguards for the merchant were probably not above the level of the 3rd ring soul lord. Take out the pistol, hide it in the black robe, and Lin Bai appears directly. Using Nianli to suppress the 3 of them, Lin Bai was certain that the 2 soul masters couldn't even handle his Nianli, and their strength was not very good. What kind of person? No, I can't move anymore. The 3 of them were panicked, and the maid next to them was so scared that she practiced and retreated, kneeling by the wall. Lin Bai used his psychic power to vibrate the air in his throat, and his voice became low. Buck, I've heard that you've made a lot of money over the years. How about borrowing me some gold coins to spend money? Upon hearing these words, Buck was not surprised but pleased, as long as he sought wealth. Although being a slave merchant made money, he also found people to hate. He was afraid that those who did not like him would come to help the heavens. At this moment, his body couldn't move, and he let out a whimper in his mouth. Lin Bai relaxed his mind. Buck felt the power on his mouth disappear, his heart shocked, and his original caution also disappeared. Good man, spare my life. I have money, and a secret room in my bedroom. There is 50,000 gold soul coins in cash, and 3 anonymous gold cards with 100,000 gold soul coins. They are all gold cards of the Tiando Chamber of Commerce, and you can exchange them with confidence. Is that all? Let me remind you, if you run out of money, you can earn more. You only have 1 life. Lin Bai is not very satisfied. With this money, he must spend a discount to buy the martial soul evolution card he wants. As his mental strength slowly increased, Buck sat on the sofa, sweating in pain and his voice trembling as he said, "Please spare your life, sir. There's only so much money in the estate, and the rest is in the city. Besides, I have to manage my business up and down, so I can't save much money at all. If you feel it's not enough, I can send someone to pick it up. Buck had a strong desire for survival, but Lin Bai only had a slight heartbeat before extinguishing his thoughts. Safety was paramount, and there was no need to take risks. No need, take me up to get the money. Removing his mental energy, Buck softened all over and almost sat on the ground. His sturdy body didn't give him any sense of security, and he trembled as he walked up the stairs. Lin Bai followed up. As Buck stepped onto the second floor, Lin Bai had a sudden thought. The two soul masters who assisted the tyrant died silently below. This time, he did not break his neck, but instead used his strength to condense into the shape of a dagger and fiercely inserted it into their hearts. At the same time, cover their mouths with force to avoid making any noise. Buck knew nothing about it and secretly hoped that someone would come and save him. The money in the secret room, but half of the savings he had worked hard to save for over a decade. Had he known this, he would not have spared the 30,000 gold soul coins of the Soul King. Not giving him a chance to regret, after he entered the bedroom and opened the secret room, a magical dagger was inserted into his heart, ending his life of guilt. Lin Bai didn't look at the body, feeling a deep regret in his heart. If the superhero system were still there, he would have killed the great slave merchant on behalf of the heavens and at least had a new superpower. Entering the secret room, a pile of golden coins were piled up on the ground. In addition, there were more than a dozen gold products, adorned with various rare gemstones on the surface, exuding elegance and luxury. System, can these things be recharged? Unlimited recharge, unlimited recharge. Precious metals such as gold can be recharged directly, and the price is subject to the system. The cold sound of the system rang out, and Lin Bai immediately understood that recharging directly would definitely result in a loss. However, the advantage is that it can save time in handling sales. With a big wave of his hand, his heroic spirit was fully displayed, and his gaze swept over the dimly lit secret room. Then recharge all the treasures in front of me, he said, recharged successfully. Not even a second has passed, and the secret room has become empty, with all the coins, cards, and gold disappearing. Lin Bai opened them all, and his balance in the system was written in the upper left corner of the panel. 530,000 gold soul coins. Buck hides a lot of things, and Lin Bai estimated that if those highly skilled gold products were put at auction, the selling price would not be less than the money in the 3 gold cards. However, all the sales were sold, and it was futile to think too much. Lin Bai drifted out of the secret room and used the deodorizing pill according to the instructions, driving various odors from his body. He left the estate and flew towards Nodding City. End of this chapter. Chapter 10, Second Martial Soul, Seek Collection. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10, Second Martial Soul, Seek Collection. The night was quiet, and the pitch-black sky covered everything that happened at night. In a forest 200 miles away from Nodding City, Lin Bai stopped to rest. Today, using mental power at high intensity, Lin Bai couldn't bear it and felt dizzy. He set up the tent he had bought in advance and fell asleep. The Eastern generals are white, and everything is silent. In the tent, Lin Bai opened his eyes and remembered everything that had happened yesterday. His mouth curved upwards as he became wealthy. He could immediately buy the original 100,000 yuan martial soul evolution card if he was willing. System, refresh the mall. In the past 2 months, the system mall has automatically refreshed twice, and the best discount refreshed is 50% off. Lin Bai is not satisfied. Although he has money now, he still needs to save some money. In addition to the 3 awakening cards, list the suitable attribute spiritual items for me. If the price of a spiritual item is discounted by 1-fold, it is equivalent to a 30% discount on the awakening card, so there is no need to pursue a 10% discount on the awakening card. The light flashed by, subtracting 10,000 from the balance. Lin Bai checked one by one, First there were 3 cards, the evolution card was 30% and 10% off respectively, while the Twin Martial Soul Awakening card was not discounted. Looking at the discounts on other spiritual items, there was no discount. Hiss, there won't be 10,000 gold coins left. System, you're so black. Lin Bai scolds the system and feels a bit distressed. Then he changed his expression and said, keep refreshing. Refresh. Refresh. Finally, after the 5th refresh, the discount behind the Twin Martial Soul Awakening card is 20% off. Lin Bai immediately placed an order to buy it, and a dazzling golden card fell into his hand, causing his blood to burst and his blood flow to accelerate. He looked like a shrimp falling into an oil pot, and his skin turned red. Feeling the restlessness of his bloodline, Lin Bai made a decisive decision and used the Twin Martial Soul Awakening card. The golden card shattered into a ball of golden liquid, which soaked into the skin along the fingers and flowed all over the body. All the blood was accelerating, as if refining his blood. Gradually, Lin Bai felt the sensation of awakening his martial soul again. Extending his left hand, his soul power seemed to have an outlet, and he crazily converged towards his left hand, gradually condensing into a flesh-like figure. No way, don't play with me. Lin Bai felt uneasy and nervously looked at his second martial soul. The light dissipated, and the martial soul revealed its true body. The chubby and white silkworm baby opened its mouth above Lin Bai's head, seemingly roaring and trying to put on a dignified appearance. It is a martial soul like his father. Lin Bai patted his head and didn't dare to look in the mirror, because he could guess how funny he was now just by imagining. After a long pause, Lin Bai put away his martial soul and regained his composure. I shouldn't have held on to too much hope. With my background, my ancestors are all ordinary people. How can I awaken a powerful martial soul? System, get a high-level martial soul card. Lin Bai has an extra purple card in his hand, which is exactly the same as the reward he received when he first recharged. The advantage of the black-hearted system is really hard to take advantage of. It turned out to be waiting for me here. The advanced martial soul card is 10% off, and the balance is reduced by 900 gold soul coins. Lin Bai skillfully uses advanced martial soul cards, with purple flowing light penetrating his body, slowly increasing his bloodline and enhancing his martial soul. Taking out the mirror, Lin Bai aimed it at the top. The silkworm baby's martial soul changed greatly, with complex golden patterns on the surface of her white skin, shining with golden light. The soft texture disappeared, and her soft flesh was no longer a decoration, giving off a sense of power. Opening the eye of identification, I learned the name of the new martial soul. Advanced Martial Soul. Golden Silkworm King, Martial Soul Characteristics. Devouring and Transforming, Evolutionary Condition. Taking sufficient wood attribute essence and undergoing blood stimulation, one can evolve into the Golden Flash Moth. Alternatively, by transforming the body with strong dragon blood, one can directly evolve into the Golden Dragon Silkworm, mutation and evolution conditions. The bloodline of the Golden Flash Moth is stable and difficult to undergo mutation and evolution. The Golden Dragon Silkworm can fuse any element, abandon its ability to devour and transform, and evolve into a 6-winged dragon moth, or further devour high-level dragon blood and transform into a world-eating dragon, silkworm dragon, using devouring rules. Super God level. Lin Bai closed his eyes and digested the information he had learned. The martial soul originated from the bloodline, and the evolutionary conditions of the beast martial soul were more likely to be achieved on the Douluo Continent, but the strength of the real dragon was not comparable to Lin Bai. The martial soul of the Golden Silkworm King definitely needs to evolve, so he lacks 2 evolution cards and 2 mutated evolution cards. The gap in the Golden Soul coin is even larger, with 270,000 remaining. Unless the mutation evolution card is refreshed by a discount, it cannot be purchased. Super martial souls are not enough for now. Let's first evolve the two types of martial souls to the level of top-level martial souls. Discount products can only be purchased once, and Lin Bai has refreshed 5 shopping malls, spending 30,000 and 40,000 respectively to buy 2 martial soul evolution cards. The sky had already brightened, and the early morning sunlight shone through the tent to illuminate the interior. Lin Bai walked out of the tent, stretched his muscles and bones, and then pinched 2 cards to activate them together. The golden light enveloped Lin Bai, transporting energy from an unknown space and transforming it into rich metallic energy and high-concentration dragon blood, transforming his body together. There was no conflict between the two energies, nor was there a clear distinction between them, but rather a balance was achieved within Lin Bai's body, synchronously transforming and evolving his bloodline. Lin Bai thought it would be very painful, but the result was similar to using advanced awakening cards. It was like soaking in a hot spring, warm and cozy. Unconsciously, energy converged at the heart position, and the martial soul completed evolution. Lin Bai breathed a sigh of relief, feeling full of strength, as if he could punch a cow to death. The soul of martial arts originates from bloodline. There is indeed something wrong with humans in this world. Hammers, dragons, angels, and ancestors' bloodlines are very diverse. However, when Lin Bai thought of his silkworm baby Wu soul, he stopped roast and jumped in the same place. His strength did not increase much. It should be because he had not attached a soul ring. He was full of energy and was closer to the world. He summoned a martial soul, first of all the ghost sect Golden Needle martial soul. After evolving into the Rui Golden Needle, the 13 golden needles did not change much in appearance, only adding a few mysterious carvings. With Lin Bai's thought, the golden needles gradually became thicker and longer, proportionally enlarged. The soul power in his body has decreased by half, and there are 13 3-meter-high long sticks in front of him. After all, the body is a golden needle, and no matter how much it is enlarged, it cannot become a satisfactory golden hoop stick. The golden needle is even more sharp, both top-level weapons and martial souls. Perhaps it can penetrate the Haotian hammer, which would be interesting. When the golden needle becomes longer, it looks like long spears, and you can buy a type of marksmanship in the mall to practice. Lin Bai attempted to retrieve the Rui Golden Needle martial soul, and the 3-meter-long spear shrank to its original size in just one breath, returning to his body. Open the mall and search for marksmanship. After excluding billions of marksmanships that were visible and unaffordable, Lin Bai bought the marksmanship from Gao Wu and the Three Kingdoms, and Zhao Yun inherited it from the gun god Tong Yuan. The Zhao family gun, which has been improved by Zhao Yun and is more powerful. End of this chapter.